All right, welcome to episode nine of the Domination Rankings of Everything, the show that creates a weekly top 25 of absolutely everything together. This is done with co-hosts who zealously and earnestly advocate for the entry into the top 25 of some things for which they have immense passion and knowledge. We have with us Greg Capozzi, owner and founder of C Zone Entertainment. How are you, Greg?
Hey man, it's great to be here. I'm usually blowing my horn with my business, but today I'm blowing you out of the water, bro. Let's go.
All right. And as will become quite clear soon, Greg loves leg day and Spotify, but not as much as he loves our other co host. No, not me. Diane Capozzi. Yes, she's Greg's much better half, who runs all of the PR for C Zone Entertainment and is a connoisseur of wine and, well, Instagram. Can one actually be an Instagram connoisseur? How you doing, Diane?
All right, fantastic. Thanks for choosing me and letting me be part of this. I'm excited.
No problem. Then there's super duper intern Emma Hurley, who starts college this fall. But let's see if she's ready. Fill in the blank here, Emma. Cheer for.
Old Notre Dame.
Sorry, Emma, that's incorrect. The correct answer, as Greg will attest, is of course Boston College. It's cheer for Boston, for Boston. If you ask, Greg will play the full song. You got that, Emma?
I knew it was either Boston College or St. Bonaventure.
Yes, let's go, Bonnies. All right. Yes, Emma is going to be a freshman at Notre Dame, which is the alma mater of my wife. So, Emma, if you play your cards right, you too could be the spouse of a podcaster.
Yeah, Notre Dame should really put that in the brochures. So they just include garbage like striving for excellence and serving others or something like that.
Hey, you could do worse than, I guess you could actually be a podcaster. So, anyway, this leads us to me. Grand Poobah, College Basketball Times, which is where the domination rankings originated, but for just basketball. And we have expanded it just a bit to include everything, thus the domination rankings of everything. So here's what we're going to do. And I pause because I don't really know what we're going to do. But the plan is we'll start with 3 rounds of debate as to which 3 new things should be added to the top 25. But that means 3 things have to come out of the top 25. And according to Emma, who I believe is going to be a math major, that is correct.
I'm going to be an English major, Dave.
That's wonderful. All right. So after the debates, we'll then reveal the latest top 25 according to our many voters. And in the last 3 things on the voters' top 25, they'll be cut. So, Emma, what do we have for round 1 of the debates?
All right. First up, we have Dave as the judge, with Greg arguing for leg day and Diane arguing for wine.
Greg, you are up.
I am up right this second.
You are.
All right, leg day. The basis of anything worthwhile in life starts with a solid foundation, right? I mean, think about it. You build a house, you build a relationship, and of course, you work on yourself. So, your legs carry you through life. And it also carries you to planet fatness. And that's where I go to do my legs sometimes. A stronger lower body, better movement, better balance, better posture. As a DJ musician and a DIY guy, this all tracks for me. I mean, the other day I was carrying my turntables and I tripped going up the curb into a venue. Landed in a forward lunge position, almost completely wiped out. But what happened? My mighty quad stopped me from eating the pavement and knocking out these chiclets, and I went on to play my gig. Leg day, baby. Heavy squats and deadlifts, they crank up testosterone and growth hormone. Your entire body gets stronger, your arms, everything. Plus, with all that, you get a little extra lead in the old pencil, something you could use, Dave. Overall quality of life is dramatically improved. Climbing stairs, carrying groceries, dancing, hiking, all a piece of cake with good gams. So,
all right, Diane.
Here's my argument.
Diane is up.
Okay, leg day. Nice. But wine's been around way longer than leg day. It's been around for over like 6,000 years. All right. It has staying power. It's ubiquitous with the ancient culture. If you look at the Old Testament, literally wine is mentioned in almost every chapter, every book of the Old Testament, except for one. And dude, if Jesus is drinking it, we're all drinking it. So it can't be that bad. It should be legal. It should be legal for you, Emma. It doesn't matter. All ages should be able to drink it. Plus, leg day, it might have its benefits, but do you have to walk out with ice packs on your knees afterwards? No, because wine has health benefits, heart benefits, cognitive health. It can help with your, wait a minute. Oh, it makes my sexual appetite bigger. Sorry, I'm hitting the gutter hard, but that's great for you, Greggy. But it's also great for me. But this is another thing that's great for men. So why more men should drink wine like the rest of the world? It's going to increase your libido. This literally is like Viagra in a freaking cup, dude.
All right,
It's the same
rebuttal.
effects as the
You guys
ED
got
drug.
it?
Rebuttals. Okay, that you made some good points there, but it leads me to think. Who do you want by your side if somebody invades your house in the middle of the night? You want somebody who just finished doing legs, who's adrenalized, ready to throw around somebody, breaking some drywall? Or do you want some person that's been drinking sour grapes with purple teeth and there's just a puddle on the couch? You want leg day by your side, baby.
Dude, all I need, okay, that's a good point there. I get that. But all I really need to do, I don't even have to get off the couch with my pajamas and my bottle of wine. It's already going to be empty. So all I have to do is throw the bottle at the intruder. Done.
That is a good point. However, leg day builds character. It's more than just physical. It's a mental battle. It teaches you how to push through the pain. The only mental battle you wine drinkers deal with is what to pair with your rosemary Triscuits and your Chardonnay.
Okay, mental battle. All right. I think I remember many a time, probably you, Dave, as a parent, the mental battle is when you have to like make this IKEA furniture for your kid that includes a trundle bed. It attaches a desk to it with 4 shelves and a freaking ladder. The only way you're mentally getting through that is by rosé, Cabernet.
I get the rosé all day, but let's face it. We all love our favorite pair of jeans, our favorite pair of shorts. Leg day makes you look better in your clothes. I mean, look, I'm filling out my jeans better than some wine drinker filling out forms at the unemployment line. You know what I mean?
Okay, I get it. But I have to kind of shift gears here with the old wine thing. It's economically so sound because it creates jobs from farming all the way down to production, all the way down to sales, all the way down to tourism. And when you go on a tourist trip to go taste wine, you can, of course, wear your cute little jeans with your cute little thighs busting out of them. But wine brings so much more to the world instead of just leg day in a pair of I don't know, really bad 70s flare jeans.
All right, lovely Diane. All good points. I really do see your points. You put a lot of thought into this. However, leg day is the perfect excuse. Hey, buddy, I'm moving this weekend. Can you help me? Sorry, Saturday is leg day. I barely made it down the stairs. Couldn't even get into my car. Boom. Guilt-free.
Okay, I see how you're using leg day to not be around people, but wine brings people together in unimaginable ways. It happens when you're having a breakup. It happens when you're having an accomplishment like going to college. It happens on your wedding day. It brings people together. Leg day does not bring people together.
All right, guys, maybe one more back and
Your
forth.
argument. We got one more?
Yeah, go ahead, one more.
One more.
Your argument is full of doo-doo, just like toilets are full of doo-doo. And let's face it, We all spent a little bit of time on the porcelain throne. You're scrolling through Barstool Sports, and what happens? Your legs get tingly because you lost circulation. You've been sitting down too long. If I don't do legs on a regular basis, there's no way I can propel myself out of the chair to use that baby wipe and get on with my day.
Okay, wait. I do have one more quick one. Now, wine, yes, get it. Sometimes we can look a little sloppy. We might be wearing pajamas, but wine, I feel like, elevates everything. Even if you drink box wine, you put it in a nice crystal stem glass, you're elevated, you're posh. But there's this little tiny natural human noise that can happen on a very heavy leg day.
All right. I got to, this is going to be tough decision here. All right. I had years and years of leg day, and people would come up to me and say, Dave, you should really work your legs. I couldn't get them to grow. It was so bad. I hated going to wedding receptions. Why? Because they play the freaking chicken dance. And people would say, Dave, they're playing your song. I wouldn't go to the zoo because of fear of getting mocked by flamingos. Finally, I managed to put on some size. But now, every time I get out of a chair, my back is in so much pain, it takes me a minute to stop looking like a 6-year-old who's about to dive into a lake. I look like the number 7. But, so my back is a disaster, all because of leg day. Wine, however, has a huge positive. Whenever wine is imbibed, the chances go up significantly of me getting a little something something. My motto since college has always been the drunker she gets, the better looking I get. But wine is a lie. Wine claims it is good for us, and it is not. There have been studies that have come out this year alone saying that wine's claimed benefits of cancer help with heart disease and longevity are all a lie. They are from flawed studies funded by the alcohol industry. There is, quote, no safe level of alcohol consumption. So while leg day may have ruined my back, my knees, and my hips, it never claimed it wouldn't. Leg day don't lie. Leg day wins.
Oh,
Wow.
All right, we got to keep it moving. On to round number 2. Emma, what do we got?
All right, round 2, we have Greg as the judge, with Diane arguing for Instagram and Dave arguing for professional wrestling.
All right, here we go. I'm a little tired now. On June 8th, 1963, Buddy Rogers steps into the ring for the WWF Heavyweight Championship and loses to who? Handsome Johnny Barron. Yes, my dad's cousin was the heavyweight champion of the world. And despite what you're surely thinking, the handsome moniker was not ironic. Fast forward to March 31st, 1985. My dad does the unthinkable. He agrees to pay for the pay-per-view showing of WrestleMania 1. And for one day of my high school career, I was popular. Well, for one part of one night of my high school career, my basement was filled with kids rooting for the Wild Samoans, Roddy Piper, Andre the Giant, Captain Lou Albano, the Iron Sheik, Mr. T, Superfly, Jimmy Snuka from the top rope, and of course Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. You had Hulkamania, WrestleMania, 2 of the 3 best manias of all time together. Pandemonium broke loose, and amazing, it's only getting better. Pro wrestling needs to be in the top 25.
honestly? Guys with spandex? All right. Okay. I honestly I can't even believe I am debating this, because how can over 2 billion people be wrong? It's irrefutably the most transformative invention since electricity. Engagement's bonkers. Instagram has the highest engagement, not wrestling, than any platform like Twitter, Facebook. Whoops them all. People comment, like, save more than any other platform, more than any other place on the planet. I mean, who can honestly find the best vegan muffin recipe along with watching cats versus cucumbers? You don't have to go pay for a shitty seat in the nosebleed section. to go see that. You just click, it's free. And Instagram is authentic and it's connectability. It's global. You're completely connected to the entire world like that.
All right, you want to talk numbers? Let's talk numbers.
Oh.
395 million. That's the number of Instagram followers of The Rock. Number 5 all time on Instagram. In fact, 1 out of 5 Instagram users follow a professional wrestler. So without professional wrestling, Instagram wouldn't even be a full gram. And as a certain segment of society will tell you, anything less than a gram is pretty much nothing.
All right. So are we talking fame or are we talking shame? I get it. But where else can like a 40-year-old guy who still lives in his basement and he's probably watching professional wrestling in his basement, but he can make a 12-second clip of eating a freaking taco? One day he's a total nobody, and the next day to millions, he's the taco guy.
Let's compare names here. You got your basement buddy on Instagram. You got like Fred Smith 15, Susie Dot Johnson 2011. Pretty pathetic compared to Ric Flair, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Sergeant Slaughter, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Fabulous Moolah, Junkyard Dog, Triple H, and of course, Macho Man Randy Savage step into a Slim Jim. Instagram cannot compete.
Okay. So the names are cute. And I'm sure they probably didn't even make them up. I'm sure their manager did. But let's talk about their fashion. I mean, seriously, we're talking professional wrestlers are still wearing the worst capes of the century, wearing glitter masks, and they're wearing bedazzled spandex onesies. Need I say more? It looks like they went into their 80s prom, took all the decorations down, and slapped them on.
All right.
Instagram ain't doing that.
Not a bad argument. In fact, I appreciate the fact that you as a woman did not go down the false path of accusing professional wrestling of sexism, which in fact, some of the biggest feminist icons in this world have been part of professional wrestling. Cyndi Lauper, creator of the greatest feminist anthem of all time, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, was part of WrestleMania 1. Joan Jett, Betty White, the sweet Betty White was part of professional wrestling. Kim Kardashian, Pamela Anderson, and of course, Snooki, often called her generation's Gloria Steinem.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about women and wrestling, let's just go right to Snooki. Okay, what quality woman is that? But I also like to just let's look at the audience of professional wrestling. One, there's not many women, and the women that you get, we're finding Betty Ann from the trailer park in Podunk, Arkansas, showing up to freaking pro wrestling. Whereas the gamut of Instagram, I mean, you do have the Kim Kardashians, classy, gorgeous, stunning. The list goes on. We're talking quality of human here.
NPR has asserted that professional wrestling treats women like athletes, not like ornaments. So that means professional wrestling treats women better than the rest of the world actually treats Santa Claus. Whereas this past February, Instagram had a little glitch, which inundated users with graphic videos of sexual assault, gore, and animal cruelty, which is just repulsive unless it's done to those frickin' flamingos or chickens.
Okay, so pro wrestling probably was pro-woman in that regard, feminism, strength, all that. But they didn't do that for the men. Those guys aren't choosing their little cute outfits. Their managers are. They have no say in the matter. Honestly, how could you take one of those dudes seriously in their little spandex and their little cape and they jump off a little rope to put this guy in a rear naked chokehold? What do you guys, wait, what do you call it? A figure 4 leg lock?
Awesome.
Why would you even want to do that with a guy in shiny peak spandex?
All right, let's just go back to Instagram for a second, which is that it doesn't work. Nobody over 50 knows how to use it. And yeah, Di, you can claim you're over 50, but nobody's buying it. Instagram is ageist. I tried. It took me 2.5 hours how to figure out how to get one damn post up. So there's nothing Insta about Instagram. Then I tell people I'm on Instagram, figuring they think I'm cool, I'm hip. You know what they think? I'm a freaking pedophile. That's what they think. Less than 2 weeks ago, a man in San Antonio befriended a 13-year-old on Instagram and sexually assaulted her. I defy you to find any allegation of sexual assault on a 13-year-old by a professional wrestler in the last 2 weeks in San Antonio.
Well, probably because the guys are in pro wrestling. They're so huge. They certainly don't look 13, but they are. They're massive. Seriously, guy, if you're not on Instagram, you're not anywhere. Instagram is the future. How many people are like, oh, can I get your business card? No, they're like, oh, what's your Instagram handle? Honey, get with the program. Get up to date.
All right. One of my last things here is you're hard pressed to find an organization more philanthropic than professional wrestling. Make a Wish, John Cena himself has granted 650 wishes, raised millions of dollars for the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation, and professional wrestling created its own Be a Star anti-bullying campaign. In contrast, multiple studies have labeled Instagram the top platform for cyberbullying amongst teens. Shut off Instagram, turn on professional wrestling.
Well, okay, that's great. I love that it's all charity driven. That's fantastic. But why can't you just get it on your own legs? I mean, think about it. There's tiny, cute little Susie Ann that lives in South Dakota creating her own little candles and her own like little cookie shop. And she's literally in her kitchen, a freaking world mogul. Where else can you do that? Where else? Come on. Tell me.
This is my last bit. I've heard that there's like other platforms you can do it, like TikTok, Twitter, and I say I've heard. But this is my last plea to Greg. No self-respecting man chooses Instagram over professional wrestling. End the story. Or do we have a decision?
And no sound woman will ever choose professional wrestling over Instagram. And let alone, I think more men and more women both equally go to Instagram over pro wrestling.
What do we got, Greg?
Boy, let me tell you something, brother. I've been saying my prayers and taking my vitamins, brother. Listen, Diamond Dave, you made some good points there. And as a massive pro wrestling fan myself, you touched on a lot of things that really tug at my heartstrings. I love Jimmy Snuka. I love Andre the Giant and all those cats. And I grew up with that. Even my dad took me to the Boston Garden to see Killer Khan versus Magnificent Morocco. And I said I wanted to throw some crap at the ring because I couldn't stand Killer Khan. He let me throw half an apple at the ring. I mean, what sort of childhood memory can you get other than that? Taking your son to pro wrestling so he can whip things at athletes. They say wrestling is fake. I don't think so. You try getting body slammed. You try taking a pile driver to the face. So I do have a very strong affinity towards pro wrestling, and I thought it was going to be an easy decision. However, Diane, you made some very, very good points on the old Instagram. And I do feel like it is the modern way to deliver information, to get your brand out there, and to really build your company. So I feel like I need more time to make my point, and I really got to get to it. But I'm going to go with Instagram with this one because
oh my God,
it's modern day, and it's the wave of the future, and I'm not stuck in the WWF ways. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry, brother.
All right, that's all right. We got to move. Round 3. We now have what, Emma?
All right, we have Diane as the judge, with Dave arguing for Disney and Greg arguing for Spotify.
And what does Greg, who kicks off? I kick off. Oh boy. All right, here we go. Do I kick off? No, Greg kicks off.
I kick off. All
Yeah,
right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Spotify is not just a streaming service. It changes the trajectory and the quality of your life. I mean, it's proven that music affects your mood. And you now have every genre, every style, every decade, every playlist, every artist at your fingertips. And being from Brockton, let's face it, I'm a functional illiterate. So it's great for people like me that can't read, and you can listen to books on tape and you can listen to podcasts. It has increased my knowledge and my IQ, although it's not a very great starting point, but it did move the needle a little bit. It's expanded my horizons. I was outside crushing Bud Lights, building a fence. I was running a Spotify playlist. I heard so many artists I had never heard of before. I started digging deep into them and built my own playlist. Next thing you know, Spotify's sending me notifications. Hey, so and so is playing at such and such. And next thing you know, I'm booking plane tickets to go to LA to go listen to people that I never knew of. Spotify has literally helped me design my vacations. And over 100 million tracks on Spotify. Granted, 99 million of them are Taylor Swift, but hey, selling argument.
All right. Disney. In sixth grade, my family went to Disney World, the US version of a trip to Mecca. We were having a wonderful time till we got to Space Mountain. No way I was going on that. Then my dad looks at me and says, "Do you really want to go home and tell all your friends you were too afraid to go on Space Mountain?" That's some next level parenting there. He managed to use peer pressure, and there wasn't even any peers around. So I went on it, survived, and triumphantly told all my friends without mentioning how I screamed like a baby and peed myself. I became a sixth grade hero because of Disney World. Now, Disney World has become the largest and most popular resort and vacation destination in the world. And among standalone destinations, it's number 2 in the world behind only the Louvre. So it's actually number 1 standalone destination that people can actually spell. And if that was all there is to Disney, was Disney World, it would absolutely need to be on the top 25. But there's so much more.
I got more for you, buddy. How about this? Unknown talent. Kind of what we all are sitting here right now, right? There is no other platform in the world that brings new talent to the forefront like Spotify. Spotify brings the best and the brightest to the forefront of society. But what does Disney do? They play It's a Small World on repeat 3,000 times a day in a rundown exhibit. Disney makes kids think that mice weigh 100 pounds. I rest my case.
All right. Let me rest my case with 4 letters. ESPN. I realize that that channel isn't for everybody, but it is for me. And I also know that Greg loves the World Strongman competition, which aired on ESPN from 1999 to 2012. And the movie Strongest Man in the World with Kurt Russell, a Disney movie.
Okay. That's good, Dave. Not bad for your little brain. But not everybody knows exactly what song they want to hear, right? Spotify has the playlist for you, from meditations to beast mode quadzilla leg workouts. So when you're stuck at Space Mountain and 103-degree heat with a bunch of kids running around screaming like a madman, waiting to get on that ride, put your earbuds in. Spotify, take me away.
Spotify is a freaking horrible name. It sounds like a stain remover. So when my daughter said they wanted to get Spotify, I was like, sure. Next day I spilled barbecue sauce all over my shirt. I said, go get the Spotify. You know what they did? They laughed at me. Spotify. Okay. They got this Spotify Wrapped. What the hell is that? So it's like they're going to tell you what you listen to all year. How do you not know what you listen to? And maybe some people don't want that out there what they listen to. They're embarrassed. Some guy listened to Sound of Music soundtrack 18 times. Why does that info need to be out there? Somebody likes that the Hills are alive. Let them like the Hills being alive without them being embarrassed.
Dave, not everybody thinks like you, bro. Thank God. Some people don't know. Like they're not into music as much as others, and they just know that they want to hear a certain vibe or a certain style. Spotify takes the guesswork out of it for you. You just click, you can search by genre, style, whatever you want. I mean, think about this, buddy. Spotify is wrapped into the fabric of our daily lives, like Starbucks, Dunkin's, Route 28, and Boston sports. I mean, come on, buddy.
All right. I'm seeing Di nodding her head, so I got to go to the big guns here. Everybody has a favorite Disney movie. My guess right now is that Di's might be Beauty and the Beast. Just an instinct, obvious reasons. Or maybe it's the Pirates of the Caribbean, because she seems to have a thing for guys with funky hair. Or maybe because of her connections to fashion and modeling, it's Devils Wear Prada. But I dug deep for this one. I found out that Diane was once invited to the U.S. Olympic trials for swimming. So I'm going with Finding Nemo, which gave us the line, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Without Disney, Dory doesn't keep swimming. Nemo simply dies. Spotify cannot do that.
Not cool, Baron. Trying to tug at my heartstrings, bringing my wife into your rebuttal. Listen, Spotify has revolutionized the way content is delivered. It is literally a case study on how to dominate the digital distribution domain. Unlike the Disney Channel, who still idolizes a rat who can stir fry, Spotify is enhancing the quality of life. Disney's kitchens violate all health and safety protocols.
All right. He's not a rat. He's a mouse. And when I was 12, I made the select choir as a soprano. Yes, my voice was quite high. And that depressed me until I realized that Mickey Mouse had an even higher voice and he was bagging that babe Minnie. So I figured if that squeaky rodent could get himself a hottie, so could I. And it turned out I was wrong, but it gave me confidence. And Mickey Mouse gave us the world's first cartoon with synchronized sound. So without Mickey, we have no Simpsons, no Flintstones, no South Park, no whatever the hell cartoon you like. Maybe it's Josie and the Pussycats. Mickey Mouse, revolutionary.
Adults who watch cartoons, I have a few choice words for them. All I can say is, let's say you own a retail establishment. You crank David Guetta radio, boom, sales are going through the roof. There's nothing a good Spotify playlist can't fix. You just got to dial in the right mix. If a part of your life is not Spotify, that's something you need to modify, baby.
All right, I got to pull out a big gun here, Di.
Okay.
2 words
All right.
for anti-Spotify. Joe Rogan. Because of his 2 to 3 hour podcast, he and Spotify can now claim sole responsibility for the lack of productivity in this country. No Spotify means what? What? If there was no Spotify, we'd have Apple still, Amazon still, without Disney. Can you imagine no Disney? Oh my God. And how about the fact that Spotify constantly screws the artists? 1,000 streams get you 3 pennies, which would be what? You know, actually, it's going to get sadder because they're going to eliminate the freaking penny. Here's a quote from Tom York of Radiohead. Spotify is the last desperate fart of a dying corpse.
Oh, please, dude. Everybody loves music. Everybody loves to party. Everybody loves to cook dinner. Everybody likes cocktail events. Everybody likes to have a little soundtrack to accompany their life. What's more fun than that? Chopping vegetables with your wife at home, nice glass of wine with a little smooth jazz playlist in the background, or eating a $20 soft serve ice cream cone at Epcot Center that's dripping down your arm while all your kids are tugging at your ankles. But what's more fun? Come on.
I got one more here for you, Di. Disney owns Touchstone, and Touchstone Pictures created a movie that every single woman I've ever met likes. Pretty Woman. So to choose Disney, to not choose Disney would be, let's say it with me, Di. Come on, say it with me. Big mistake. Big, huge.
Okay. Dude. Wow. You guys. Research City. Okay. Super freaking impressed. Okay, Dave, you had me at Nemo.
There you go.
You did have me at Pretty Woman.
There you go.
You did have me at Spotify wouldn't be here without Mickey Mouse and basically the genesis of the auditory connection or whatever you were saying. Good point. But I just can't get past the lines, the heat, the kids. Whereas Spotify, everyone on the planet can enjoy Spotify. You don't have to buy a plane ticket to go to Disney and enjoy it.
Disney's more than just Disney World.
I know it's more than just Disney World. As you did point out, for sure, the movies, the productions, but my heart's with Spotify.
Yeah!
Wow.
This is what happens when I have a husband.
I know, and I swear it was not because I'm married to him. That is not the reason. Spotify is just like the future, and I feel like the access to Spotify is just so much easier. And you can listen to like 8 trillion Disney soundtracks on Spotify.
All right,
So
we got a mere
Spotify's
4
my
minutes
answer.
left. Emma, let's go through the top 25 according to our voters.
All right, we're gonna speed run this top 25. Number 25, we have jeans.
So that's getting
24.
cut, right?
Yeah,
Jeans
these
is getting
these
cut.
3 are getting cut. 24, sandwiches. 23, money. 22, Premier League Soccer. 21, Motown. 20, Ted Williams. I kind of think this should just be Ted, like the talking teddy bear. He had not one but 2 movies. Now that's what I call domination. Sorry. Moving on. 19, deodorant. 18, Rome. 17, indoor plumbing. 16, The Simpsons. 15, Elvis. 14, Star Wars. I also heard a new series is coming out. I'm have my fingers crossed that it's about Jar Jar Binks. Moving on. 13.
Also owned by Disney, by the way.
Oh, right.
Ooh.
13, fishing. 12, Jesus. 11, sex.
All right, this is dropped from last week, and I say good. Nice to know that sex is as non-dominant a part of other people's lives as it is of mine.
Number 10, childbirth. 9, pasta. 8, summertime. 7, New York City. 6,
Go ahead.
6, TV. 5, pizza. 4, making people laugh. 3, sleep. 2, a good bowel movement.
It feels like you have a comment for that.
For a good bowel movement?
All right, go ahead.
Boy. And number 1.
Number 1, here we go.
Air conditioning.
Could not have lived without it these past few days.
I know.
But, I think it should just be called air cooling, not air conditioning. I mean, the air is getting colder, not getting in shape. Bottom line, there is no leg day for air conditioning, but there is leg day in the top 25 now. There you have it.
Hell yeah. And I think pasta should still remain in the top 25. It's a universal comfort food. You can have a $2 bowl of pasta. You can have a $45 bowl. It lives in all tax brackets. Throw a little squid ink on there, zhuzh it up, or have a little, Prego with some freaking Rotelli on there, and boom, you got it done. So I say pasta stays in the top 25. Same goes for pizza because I'm a Goomba and I like a good thin crust, no flop jalop. You know what I mean?
Dude, I agree with all that too, which lends to New York City, because New York City is just full of Italians and Little Italy and pasta joints. And after you eat pasta, guess what you're gonna do? Number 2, which is number 2 on the list, a good bowel movement. Boom!
Wow.
Very
I like
nice.
that connection there.
All right, we have 1 minute left. I wanted to talk a little bit about C-Zone. Tell me about C-Zone.
C-Zone is a booking agency for DJs, live jazz, live strings, lighting, photo booths, photography. We're heavy in the wedding scene and corporate events, private events, and we've been rocking parties since 2003. And we do about 400 events a year, and it is a juggernaut. And I'm super grateful that it's still going strong.
That is phenomenal. My wife would like to know if we can have she can have a second wedding via you guys. Do you guys do second weddings?
Oh yeah, we do second weddings, sure.
Yeah, she'd like me to not be there, but that's
I kind of figured as much.
Yes. But I want a big birthday party coming up.